Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Battle for Azeroth video. Today, I have something brand new for you guys, something that was actually released on today's alpha build that came out today. Okay, so now, I mean, you're watching it. I guess that means it's yesterday for you guys, but today for me, all right? And I've been playing with this new Demonology Warlock Rework. It's like a complete overhaul rework. I've been playing with this for the last few hours, and I think that I have a pretty solid grasp on it. I have a pretty solid understanding of the new talents, and I think that it's honestly a really cool spec that furthers it, like progresses the theme that they tried to build in Legion, with summoning a ton of demons and being very like summoner demon focused, right? Like I think that that is a really cool theme. I think they missed a lot of it with last expansion because you would always have to have so many uptime, factors and all about the timers and empowering them all the time, trying to build the biggest Thalkios you ever could. Since Thalkios is not in the game anymore, I think there's a lot of opportunity to further along this summoning demon theme. And we're going to show you right here on the alpha. So how I'm going to do this is very simple, actually. I'm going to show you the abilities that are like the main core abilities for this class, and then we're going to go into the actual talents and show you all of the different talents that have been reworked. And then after that, I will show you some gameplay footage of this class for Battle for Azeroth. All right, guys, so just jumping into these abilities, there are a lot of baseline abilities, and then there's a lot of talent abilities. I'm going to tell you guys which ones are the most baseline, that are the baseline abilities that are most important, and then I'll move into the talents. All right, so the very first ones I want to talk about is Call Dreadstalker's baseline ability, very similar to how it is in Legion. 2 soul shards, very fast cast, 12-second cooldown, summons 2 ferocious Dreadstalkers to attack the target for 8 seconds. And then you also have Hand of Gul'dan, which works the exact same as it did in Legion. Okay, so 1 to 4 soul shards, pretty fast cast. A big ball drops on this on the enemy target, and it summons 4 imps, up to 4 imps, based on how many soul shards you consume. So if you do a 1 soul shard Hand of Gul'dan, you're going to have 1 imp spawn, right? That's very, very simple. And then we have 2 abilities that are like your main casted abilities that you will be doing damage with. One is going to be Shadow Bolt. Okay, so Shadow Bolt is a 1.6 second cast. It's like your most basic. It's like Frostbolt, Fireball, very simple. It generates 1 soul shard every time you cast, so it's going to be your main builder ability. And then we have Soulfire, which is really cool addition to the Demonology spec. Soulfire is a 5-second cast, okay? And how this works, the tooltip is actually broken right now. Like, it's not currently fixed on the alpha, the game's broken, all that stuff. But how it works is basically it's a really long cast. You're never going to hard cast this, similar to how like Pyroblast works for Fire Mage. You don't really hard cast it. But there's this really cool mechanic called Molten Core, which is brand new. So basically, whenever you spawn a wild imp, like for example, when you spawn 4 of them, 4 of these wild imps, with Hand of Gul'dan, or with the new ability called Imp Swarm, where you summon 5 wild imps for free, and that's a 45-second cooldown for no soul shards. Basically, every time you have your wild imps spawned, they all have a 15% chance when they expire to basically give you a buff. It's like a proc, but it's based on your demons and how many demons you can get up, how many imps you can get up. So when they expire, they have a 50% chance to combust into a ball of energy, granting you a stack of Molten Core. Molten Core reduces the cast time of Soulfire by 75%, maximum 4 stacks of Molten Core at a time. All right, so you can have 4 stacks of this. Basically, what this means is that if you have 4 stacks of it, your next 4 Soulfires will be 75% reduced cast time, very, very fast, and it also deals a lot of damage, so it's worth using Soulfire. What it doesn't say, because the Soulfire tooltip is broken, is that when you cast your Soulfire, it generates 2 Shadow Bolts. So Soulfire is basically an upgraded version of Shadow Bolt to build your soul shards and continue casting more demons and whatnot, okay? All right, and then to top it all off, we have by the way, Shadow Fury is baseline for Demonology Warlocks and all Warlocks. It's a new addition for Battle for Azeroth Warlocks. All specs have it baseline, which is really cool. So you guys have an 8-yard, 3-second stun, 45-second cooldown with the talent, 1 minute without the cooldown. And last but not least, I want to talk about the most important ability and the biggest damage ability for Demonology Warlocks. This is called Demon Commander. Okay, so this is brand new. Basically, it says, summon a Demon Commander to increase the duration of all your current demons by 15 seconds. Huge. And then also increases the damage of all demons by 15%. So this is like the replacement like Thalkeels and also demonic empowerment. It's like those two abilities combined. And then how this works is you summon it. I'll just show you. Like I'll just straight up show you. Like you summon the demon commander, and then he starts spamming cast these shadow bolt volleys. I think it's a little bit broken right now because it's hitting everything around it. But what it does is it just spam cast damage. It does a huge amount of damage to every single target around you within, I think, 30 yards. It's a really, really strong ability, and it's only 1.5 minute cooldown, and it's a very like cool ability. So the idea of this entire spec is that you summon a bunch of demons, you summon as many imps as possible, you do as much summoning as possible, and be very efficient with that, and then you summon your demon commander. Your demon commander empowers all of these different demons that you have available to you, and then once all of those imps basically despawn, a minority of them will give you molten core stacks where you can continue building your soul shards faster, and then after that you'll be a little bit weaker because you won't have molten core stacks, and you will be summoning demons, but you won't have demon commander. So 1.5 minutes is going to be your big damage spender, and after that I really do want to talk about the talents. Some of the talents are broken. There's only 2 of them I think that are broken, but the other ones are all really cool. They basically enhance the way you play this spec. Because with this spec, like, I just want to be upfront, like, there isn't a whole lot of diversity with this spec in terms of a playstyle. Like, the playstyle is very defined. It's very methodical. It's exactly like the developers like want you to play a certain way when you play this spec. Like, you can't play either Implosion spec or Zoo spec anymore. Like, it's just demonology. Like, you just play, summon a bunch of demons, pick which talents you want to basically empower your goal of summoning a bunch of demons, and that's pretty much it. Like, you're just going to try to empower them as much as possible. So Demonic Strength, Felguard deals 50% increased damage passively, and also the cooldown of Fellstorm is reduced by 5,000%. That last part, I don't really quite understand. I don't know if it's broken or what, but that cooldown reduction thing doesn't do anything on the alpha, so I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And I think, honestly, it just might be broken since it's so early, in the alpha. They haven't quite figured this out. This build was literally pushed out today, so I'm sure there's a lot of bugs they haven't quite worked out. But 50% overall increased damage, which is great for your main pet, your Felguard. And then we have Demonic Calling. Shuttlebolt has a 20% chance to make your Call Dreadstalkers cost no soul shards, which is great. I don't see a whole lot of value in this. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Let me kill this guy. All right. Very, very easy to kill stuff. You pretty much just Shadow Bolt it up, spawn a bunch of imps, spawn a bunch of Dreadstalkers, and kill stuff. But anyways, getting back into it. With your Call Dreadstalkers, it's so cheap to cast it. I don't usually take this because I don't have a problem using like 2 soul shards. I could see the value in this, and maybe it is better. I just haven't really seen the value from my playstyle just by my testing. I think that Demonic Strength gives you overall more damage because you're always casting, and since you have molten core stacks, you just get so many soul shards that it's really hard to really justify taking that. But maybe it is better. I don't know. And then we have Doom as well, a very, very famous ability. It's basically 5,000 shadow damage, or a high amount of shadow damage, after 30 seconds on a target. What's really interesting about this is that it is limited to 1 target, so you can no longer put Doom up on several different targets and then just wait for you to do damage like you did in Arena. Basically, most of the damage from Demonology Warlocks in Arena was based on Doom. This is only available on 1 target now, so that's very interesting that they've made that change. And then moving on from that, we have the second tier. We have Riders, which is the choice I pick. Hand of Gul'dan has 25% chance per soul shard to spawn an additional wild imp. So basically, you're going to be getting more wild imps on the regular, and then you're going to be getting more molten core procs, which feeds into more wild imps and so on and so forth. This just makes it a little bit more efficient and a little bit better chance to get those molten core 15% procs. We have Power Siphon. This ability doesn't currently work. It's bugged, but what it says is that it instantly sacrifices up to 4 wild imps to generate 4 charges of molten core. This is an ability I would imagine is probably very good. I can't test it, but I think that generating 4 charges of molten core sounds very good, and it is something that I'm definitely interested in once it does work on the alpha. And last but not least, we have Summon Vile Fiend, which is a standalone ability. Vile Fiend, you summon 1 Vile Fiend to fight for you for the next 15 seconds. It's basically an upgraded Dreadstalker that only costs 1 soul shard, but unfortunately, like, it doesn't really fit in the rotation. Having that extra soul shard is kind of hard. But maybe it is better. Like, it's really hard to know in the long term if this is going to be better. But for my understanding, this is kind of clunky, and it makes having your rotation just be a little bit weird, because you constantly need to be using your soul shards on Hand of Gul'dan. All right, so this tier hasn't actually changed at all. You have Burning Rush, Dark Pact, and Demon Skin. I'm not going to waste time explaining that. There's really nothing different there from Legion. Next up, we have Overloaded. Molten Core now makes your Soulfire instant cast. Very good ability. That could definitely be useful in the future. If you were to use Overloaded and Power Siphon together, you could probably get a lot of single target burst damage out, and also have a lot of soul shards be going up and down as you play. It almost reminds me of Arcane Mage. After that, we have a 1 minute cooldown damage steroid for your pet. It increases all damage it deals by 100%. The idea behind this is basically you would summon your demon commander, and then you would use demonic strength as well, so that it would be like 15% increased damage, and then also 100% increased damage, and it causes it to have a bonus attack every 5 seconds for 20 seconds. I'm sure this is more of a single target thing, but it might be great. I don't really know off the top of my head, because it's hard to test that in more of a raid situation. But I think that for single target, this is probably where it's going. And then the Bile Scourge, I don't know how to pronounce that word or where that word came from, but basically it spawns a bunch of bats. Like, I can just show you. It spawns a bunch of bats to come out of this portal, and then it just starts bombing this area. This is definitely an AoE ability. It's very interesting how this one works. It's only a 1.5 minute cooldown, very fast cast, but it is a pretty big damage ability, and I think that it's going to be definitely useful in dungeons. All right. So for the 75 tier, we have Dark Fury. It reduces the cooldown to Shadow Fury by 15 seconds. Very simple cooldown, or very simple passive talent. Mortal Coil, nothing different there. Demonic Circle on this tier, which is interesting. You're basically going to trade mobility for more survivability or more CC, which is really interesting that this is on the same tier. And then we have the 90 talents, which is pretty much the same thing, like except for demonic consumption, which I'll get into in a second. But Grimoire of Synergy, very easy ability to understand. Damage done by you and your demon has a chance to grant the other one 10% increased damage for 15 seconds. Just overall, like a little bit extra damage. Then we have Demonic Consumption. Your demon commander will now destroy and absorb the remaining power of all your wild imps to empower himself. I think this is really interesting for AoE damage because the demon commander does Shadow Bolt Volley consistently, like when you spawn him. So if you can get out like 9 or 10 or 12 wild imps, and then demonic consumption comes into play where your demon commander like absorbs all that power, maybe you get more AoE damage out of that. And I think that that's really cool, but unfortunately this ability does not quite work on the alpha. But I think that it would definitely be interesting whenever it does work. And then we have Grimoire of Service. There's nothing different about that, so I'm not really going to go into that. And last but not least, we have the last talent tier, and that is going to be Inner Demons. So Inner Demons basically replaces Imp Swarm and makes Imp Swarm a passive ability that works every 10 seconds you spawn an extra wild imp. Every time this summons a wild imp, you have a 20% chance to also summon an additional demon to fight for you until it's canceled. I think Imp Swarm is more valuable because you can get a massive amount of demons, and that's kind of what you want as this spec. You want to have a massive amount of demons up whenever your demon commander comes into play, and I think that this talent is kind of in conflict with that specific playstyle, so that's why I don't choose it. I choose Soul Conduit, which is very simple. It just means every time you spend a soul shard, you have a 15% chance to be refunded. That's just an efficiency talent. It makes you more efficient as you play the game. And then last but not least, we have the biggest talent, which is called Nether Portal. It casts 5 soul shards, so all your soul shards. It tears open a portal to the Twisting Nether for 20 seconds. Every time you spend soul shards, you will also command demons from the Nether to come out and fight for you, which is really cool. Really cool ability. I like those really big, powerful, meaty cooldowns. It's only a 3-minute cooldown, and unfortunately, it only lasts for 20 seconds. I think that's a little bit low for how much casting you have to do as a Demonology Warlock. I think it should be instant cast. If it's going to cost 5 soul shards, because you're going to have to spend all your soul shards, you're going to have to gain all your soul shards, and then cast even more to get imps out and spend soul shards. That's a long process to get your Nether Portal to work, but maybe it will be better. I just think that Nether Portal should be instant if it is going to be that big of a, that expensive of an ability. All right. Those are pretty much all the talents, guys. I think that this spec is really cool. Before I show you just the gameplay footage, like I want to show you what I think is really, really cool about this spec and kind of how the overall damage rotation works. So I'm going to kill every single one of these ravens in here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to walk up. I'm going to get to 5 soul shards, okay? Then I'm going to cast Hand of Gul'dan. Then I'm going to cast another soul. Oh, never mind. I got 1 refunded. I'm going to cast Call Dreadstalkers. I'm going to summon even more imps. I've got 9 imps on the floor, 2 Dreadstalkers. I summon my Demon Commander, and then he literally just kills everything. Like, check this out. Like, I've got so many demons. This is a demon bonanza going on here. So as you can see, like all of my demons were empowered there, 15% increased damage. I had 9 imps out in a pretty small rotation, 2 Dreadstalkers. I had my main pet, and then I also had the Demon Commander, and I ended up killing, like, look at how many dead birds that is. That's seriously like 15 dead birds. Really, really crazy playstyle. I think it's very unique, and I think it's very interesting, and I hope that this playstyle continues. I hope it doesn't change too much, but I will keep you up to date. And I'm going to just like stop talking now and let you guys watch some gameplay without me talking, so you can kind of form your own opinion, and I'll see you at the end of the video.
Waste my time, Grissom. Cannot command you.
Out of range.
Alright guys, that does sum it up for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to give a big thumbs up and support the channel, support the video, and also leave a comment down below with what you think of the new Demonology Warlock rework. I think it's brilliant. I think it's really cool, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity with this class, and I hope that you guys see it the same way. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to keep up to date with all the videos I've been posting. I've been posting 2 videos a day, and I'm really enjoying making these for you guys on the BFA Alpha. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.